what it was like to be essentially like a nomad in the middle
It's
of
like
the
Bedouin.
desert.
It was a Bedouin community that was there.
Community, yeah.
Didn't we ride camels too and stuff?
We
It
did,
was cool.
which
Yeah.
was the most uncomfortable fucking thing
That's true.
I've ever done. Do not ride a camel. They are incredibly uncomfortable. Hey everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Andrew.
And we're the Midlife guys. Andrew, guess what?
What?
March has finally arrived. I am thrilled to death. As we discussed a few weeks ago on our episode about why the winter hits harder after 40, March brings the promise of longer days and warmer temperatures. Yay.
It does. I went for my first outdoor run in months today because it wasn't freezing cold and it was awesome. I am very happy for, hopefully spring will stay here. Sometimes our area, we get like a fake spring and it gets cold again in March, but I'm going to stay optimistic that the warm temperatures are here to stay.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
So it's hitting 71 degrees today. So it's very nice. It's going to be the 80s all weekend long. Super excited about that. And hell, the forecast right now for all of next week looking 70s and 80s. So
okay.
I'm about that. I'm excited about it. As I've mentioned before, I was not built for cold weather. I was not built for it.
You hate the cold with a passion.
I
mean, a real deep passion.
If it gets below 75 degrees, I'm cold. But now March signifies another big step for midlifers. It is the point in which we all start booking our summer vacations. According to Condé Nast and the Points Guy and some other travel trade publications, while midlifers do conduct research for their summer travel plans in January and February, when it's cold and dreary and fucking horrible outside, they actually pull the trigger on their plans in March. That includes booking hotel rooms, airfare, rental cars, train tickets, etc., etc. Midlifers do this in March not only because they can find great fares, but because it provides a cathartic response to having something to look forward to.
That's true.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. In fact, this is going to be the first episode in a series of 3 episodes looking at midlife travel trends. I'm excited about this. Today, we're going to look at the why midlifers are drawn to travel. Next week, we're going to be joined by some very good friends of ours who are an inspiration to us both. They are parents of 3 beautiful children and have traveled with their kids all over the world. How do they do it? They will have the answers that a lot of parents are looking for. The week after that, we'll be joined by our friend Joe Briere, who's an award-winning travel agent who's going to talk to us about where midlifers want to travel. His answers may surprise you, so be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned.
I like to be surprised.
Yeah. Are you ready to talk about midlife travel trends?
I am. I know we both like to talk about, we both like to travel and to talk about travel. So I'm excited for not just today, but for the whole series we'll be doing over the next couple of weeks. And hopefully other folks will appreciate it as well. So let's get started and talk travel.
I love it. Let's do it. All right. According to American Express Travel's Global Travel Trends Report, midlifers are more likely to spend their money on experiences at a rate of about 10 percentage points higher than they would on consumer goods. So what has inspired this focus on travel? Well, our generation or midlifers have always loved to travel, but COVID seemed to be a big part of this equation. We were all in lockdown. It was horrible. We midlifers were just watching travel-inspired documentary series, TV shows, and other media focused on travel. Given the travel was restricted at the height of COVID, those media outlets created a yearning in midlifers to go out and see the world with their families. It also created a new type of traveler, one that was committed to sustainability and wellness. Midlifers are prioritizing travel to places where they will have a limited environmental impact and where they can rest, relax, and recharge. Interestingly enough, midlifers travel, but they're also not spending as much as older Gen X or boomers.
We don't
They're
have the
finding,
money.
well, we don't have the money, that's true. But they are finding places that are off the beaten path or substituting hotels with vacation rentals, which are about 15 to 50% cheaper than a standard hotel or resort. They're doing this because they're focused on the research behind travel and their travel. According to McKinsey and Company, only about 17% of midlifers use a travel agent. The report goes on to say that the reason being is that midlifers find joy in the research behind a trip. They love finding location, immersive experiences, and places to dine. As part of that planning process, they're also finding new ways to save money. They find joy in finding deals with airfare excursions. For example, if they can save $500 on a flight that has a layover rather than a direct flight, they're going to take the flight with a layover. But I'm curious to hear if our listeners are doing the same thing. Andrew, what are your thoughts about these midlife travel trends?
Yeah, I mean, I concur with the taking joy in planning. I love to plan in general, but especially for travel, I feel like that's part of the fun of traveling is first trying to identify a place to go and then to plan and kind of like put something together. So I know like my wife and I, we've used a travel agent, not like to plan a whole trip, but if we've had like specific questions about a place that we're going that we don't know a ton about, we might ask for some help or something. But yeah, we're definitely more of the plan it ourselves, do our own research. I know once we set our sights on a place that we want to go, we then do like a deep dive into better understanding that place, kind of the culture around the place, experiences you can have there. I will then completely screw up my YouTube algorithm because I'll just watch videos about everything from the place that we're going and try to learn more about it. My wife's also really good about finding local like businesses or local people in the place that we're going and getting ideas from them on stuff to do. It's like when we went to Madrid a couple years ago, she followed a bunch of local people there and we found some cool off the beaten path like restaurants that were kind of fun that didn't have like a ton of tourists in them. They were very local and that was a cool experience to feel like you're kind of a part of a different city and really experience it. So I'm 100% love all the planning parts of it. And I think that's kind of, it's not as fun as doing the trip itself, but part of the fun, I think, of the whole travel experience is the planning piece and getting to discover something different. And sort of, I think it also builds up the anticipation and the excitement because you kind of are going into something with a sense of like what it might be. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of the planning part. I'm curious if others are as well. Although one thing I'll say too, you had mentioned about the COVID stuff is, I mean, I do think there definitely was pent up travel demand after COVID. Like all the travel numbers kind of show that. But I really think that for a lot of now midlifers, so Gen X, millennials, I feel like we've always had an interest in traveling, or certainly been higher. We've done it at a younger age at a higher percentage than like previous generations have. And to me, I think there's sort of two reasons behind that. So one is something you had referenced earlier, which is that we like to spend more money on experiences rather than stuff. And this is a theme that's obviously come up in lots of other episodes that we've done. But I think travel really is sort of the height of that experience. So, it's worth, I think a lot of midlifers think this, it's worth saving up and doing a fun travel experience because you get that experience and that's sort of something different than just having a bunch of stuff. And likewise, I think that there is a trend too with our generation where we traveled younger because we wanted to travel when we could enjoy it as much, like not always wait. The traditional thing was you wait till you're like retired and then do all your traveling. But I think, I don't know, a lot of us kind of think like, why not do it when we can now and kind of prioritize that and sort of have those experiences throughout our lives rather than just waiting till we're retired.
Don't wait till you're retired. You'll have arthritis and God knows what else. It's no fun. Can't do all the fun stuff. So, Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I've always loved to travel,
Yeah.
even before COVID. I love to travel. I also like to do my own research when finding flights, things to do, places to eat, places to stay. I have trips booked out through 2028, including an expedition to Antarctica, which I'm incredibly excited about. So for me, the research behind travel is a huge part of the experience. For example, I have a cruise through the Panama Canal planned. In addition to finding just the right land based experiences that I want to have, I also purchased David McCullough's The Path Between the Seas, which is a history of the Panama Canals, how it was built, the people involved, et cetera, et cetera. And it's fascinating. It is a fascinating story and one that I knew very little about
Yeah.
in a deep dive. Um, so you know, all this information that was in the McKinsey report makes sense to me. I don't just want to go to a place. I want to know the story behind the
Mhm.
place. I want to know the story behind the people. For me, travel is not something that you do just to get away from the home. It's a way to connect with the broader world.
Yeah.
I want to learn something when I travel. I want to enrich my understanding of our collective humanity. But, I may be an outlier. What do our listeners think? Am I
Well,
crazy? Do you like to learn something when you travel, or am I just a fucking weirdo?
now it'll be interesting to see if other people like to learn. I feel like there are a bunch of planners out there. I guess we'll find out. Although I will say, Mike, you're on like the super planning spectrum with you have trips already out going out to 2028. I think I've got like this year covered, and then past that is anybody's guess as to what's coming.
Hell yeah, because I got a budget accordingly.
Well, that's
Shit's expensive.
it's worth it for the experience. Yeah.
Exactly. All about the experience. All right. Let's talk about another reason why midlifers are traveling more than ever. Self discovery is a big one. Back in the fall, we did an entire episode focused on how older millennials and younger Gen X were redefining the midlife crisis. If you have not listened to that episode yet, we will leave it in the show notes. It's a good one. Go back and listen to older episodes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's actually,
Midlifers are using travel as a way to manage getting older. And according to Grandview Research, that's absolutely true. More and more midlifers are using travel because they see it as a way of discovering something about themselves that they didn't know. That could be a new hobby, a love for a new activity, testing their limits by doing something daring or a little outside their comfort zone. Midlifers want a better understanding of who they are rather than what they own. Yep.
I think it's true. Yeah, I would say I 100% would agree with that. I think there's a self discovery piece to this for sure.
Yeah, they want to test their boundaries.
Yeah, I would say I think it's almost well for me too. It's like not just self discovery, but also kind of like trying to find your place in the world, if that makes sense, or just sort of kind of see how you fit into the broader world around you. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and I think that's I don't know. I'm curious. Do you think like that pull feels like it's gotten stronger as I've gotten older too? That sense of like trying to sort of find your place in the world or try to make sense of the world around you, experience different people. Maybe that's all kind of part of self discovery. But I feel like that's definitely increased as I've gotten older.
Well, I'll be curious to
Yeah,
hear your thoughts about this next portion of the research, though,
yeah,
because it does break down into two distinct segments. There are people that like to take trips, and some people like to do both of these things, but there are people that like to do trips solo, and then
mhm.
there are people that like to do trips of self discovery with their kids. Those midlifers want to travel with their families. They want to experience these worldly events with the people that are most important in their families. But those individuals that want to travel solo or mix it up between solo and with family feel like they need to have some separation time. Um, But those midlifers, that want to do it with family, they want to dive off a waterfall or snow ski with the most important people in their lives. They want a shared experience. Um, and then those solo travelers just want to take some greater risks, whether it be skydiving or something like that. So I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are definitely two different types of trips that people would take, the solo versus with your family, and maybe some of it's like the season of the life that you're in, or I mean, I can also understand people just needing a break sometimes and wanting to go do their own thing. When it comes to bigger travel, we tend to err towards the side of doing it with your family just because we've got kids. And sometimes, like, my wife and I will go do our own thing, but a lot of times we'll want to bring the kids too so they can experience it. And I think there is something about when you have those experiences as a family, I think like you create stronger bonds through that too. Like, we definitely have a lot of shared family memories from traveling that I think were, and I at least hope for our boys were formative, and kind of help them understand, the fact that the world is this pretty amazing place. And although we come from different parts of it, like, there's a lot of shared humanity and there's a lot of like beautiful things to understand and to appreciate. And so hopefully they're kind of getting to experience some of that with travel. And when I look back at my life, there definitely are moments from travel that have been really formative or sort of like core memories. They're kind of like etched into your mind. And there's one I was thinking of, when my wife and I went to Iceland, probably 10-ish years ago, 10, 11 years ago at this point, and it was in like mid-ish October. We were kind of hoping to see the Northern Lights. That wasn't the primary reason we were going, but we're like, oh, maybe we'll see them. And so we did this excursion out to the middle of nowhere, these woods at these cabins. And I remember standing outside in the cold for a very long time and like seeing a little flicker, but not a whole lot. It was just like kind of anticlimactic. And so went in, went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. And I just happened to look outside and I like shook my wife awake. I was like, we have to go outside. And she's like, what are you doing? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm cold. It's like, put your coat on. We're going outside. And we go outside the cabin and there aren't the Northern Lights, but it was this most incredible, I guess, image or view of the stars I'd ever seen because we were near no light pollution. And it felt like there were millions of stars that you could touch them. And it just like, it's the sense of feeling again like the expanse of the universe, but also my place in it and getting to share that with her and us kind of having that experience together of like we're together in this bigger picture was just something that I'll never forget. And it's a really beautiful memory that I hold on to. And I feel like at its best, that's kind of what travel is, right? It's giving you those type of experiences and those memories that really kind of help inform your life.
I 100% agree with you. Um, you know, Travel is about self discovery. I do find that I learn new things about myself when I'm traveling. I love learning about new cultures and the people that make a place. So for me, it's all about diving into that place, eating the things I wouldn't normally eat,
Yep.
going to places I wouldn't normally go, and seeing things that I wouldn't normally see. So it's getting outside of my comfort zone, and experiencing something brand new. Um, you kind of stole my thunder with your Iceland story, but
Oh, sorry.
I know Andrew and I
I love this
also
memory.
a number of years ago went to Dubai, and one
That's
of the things
true.
that we did was
That
go
was
in
like
the
20 years
middle.
ago, not a number
I
of
know,
years ago.
man. Please don't age us. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Sorry, go with your story.
Because
They're great stories from
went to
there.
the
Yeah.
middle of the desert with a
Yeah,
group. We had a traditional meal, listened to
that was
local
super
music,
cool.
and experienced it. It was like, what it was like to be essentially like a nomad in the
It
middle
was
of the
like Bedouin.
desert.
It was a Bedouin community that
Bedouin
was there. Yeah.
community, yeah.
Didn't we ride
So
camels too and
we
stuff? It was
did,
cool.
which was
Yeah.
the most
It
uncomfortable
was
fucking
super
thing
comfortable. That's true.
I've ever done. Do not ride a camel. They are incredibly uncomfortable. Um, Yet again, it was a memorable experiences because there
Yeah.
was no light pollution and the stars were so
Or
vivid
amazing.
out
Yeah.
there in the middle of the desert. And you know what? I actually preferred that experience to whatever Andrew did in Iceland because I bet it was cold as
It
fuck
was
up there
very
in
cold.
Iceland,
It
and
was.
it was not cold at all. Well, it was a little chilly in the desert, but
In the evening when it
um,
got dark. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It
So
was.
I love, getting out of that comfort zone. But I do have limitations too. I do have limitations. For example, I have a fear of heights. I don't like heights, never have liked heights, don't like anything about heights. Now, I have definitely pushed myself to go to the top of structures that are, you know,
They're tall, they're
make me
high.
very tall and make me very uncomfortable, like the top of the Eiffel Tower or
Oh,
the top
yeah.
of World Trade Center 1. Didn't love how high up I was. Knees were a little shaky, but I wanted to see it, wanted to experience it. Um, and there was another moment in Costa Rica where I got tricked into
Tricked.
ziplining
Okay.
down a
Mhm.
fucking mountain. Did not love that. Glad I did it, but always glad when the experience is over. Tricked.
Aren't you happy that
Tricked.
you did that? It's so see, a group of friends
Glad I did
went.
it. But
Everyone else knew about the zip line except for Mike somehow. This is how he was
you did
tricked
not
into
tell
this.
me about the
Literally
zip line.
everyone in the group was aware of the zip line experience. It's okay, but you had fun. It was a good growth experience, wasn't it, for you?
Sure. Wish I had
Yes.
gotten more camera shots, but that's okay. So I know where I should push my limits and where I probably shouldn't.
That's fair.
But let us know what you all think. Have you pushed your limits when you travel? Have you done something really weird or out of the ordinary? Eaten something crazy? Experienced something crazy? Let us know. Send
Yeah,
your comments.
food is a great way to experience different things. I'll say, reflecting on my travels, I also appreciate the kindness of people, especially because I'm not the most adventurous when it comes to eating. So I'll try something, but sometimes it always doesn't go well. So it's that's always a fun experience too.
All right. Now, our final reason why midlifers want to travel. They want to show their kids the world. So, there's a lot of data that shows that we as midlifers actually did not do a ton of travel when we were growing up or in our very early years. Many of us may remember filling into our parents' station wagons or minivans in the 1980s and 90s and heading off to some beach year after year for summer break. But that's kind of the extent of what our travel experiences were. So we are flipping the script and we want to show our kids more than we saw when we were young. So, research from the Family Travel Association and New York University shows our experience growing up has left a huge impression on midlifers who want to show their kids the world, um, either domestically within the country or the greater world internationally. In their October 2025 report, NYU and FTA outlined that 92% of parents surveyed want to travel with their children in the next 12 months. So, what's going on there? 84% of parents say travel makes their kids more adaptable to new experiences. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Kids can get very set in their ways. 61% of parents say that travel has a positive impact on their child's happiness. And an overwhelming majority said that they see travel as a way of breaking their child away from digital devices and social media. So, in other words, parents want their kids to be able to adopt to a rapidly changing world, and they see travel as a great way in which to do that. We also travel to give our kids the experiences that we did not have when we were growing up. All right, Andrew, what do you think of that?
Well, I think I agree 100% with it. Was the NYU? Is that where that study came from? On the of the
Mm-hmm.
by the reasons, it's like they kind of interviewed me, although they didn't for that. I didn't participate in the survey, but I agree with all that and the reasons of wanting to have your kids experience the world through travel. And I think you're right; it's both international and domestically, or within the country that you might live in. I mean, for us here in the United States, it's a pretty big country, so you can get far away from where you live just within the in the country. You know, as I think about it, I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and guess what? By the end of this summer, they will have been to 5 or 6 different states, some pretty far away from where we live, and then 5 different countries. which is pretty cool. And I think those are good experiences for them. And a lot of the reasons we've done that and we prioritize saving and traveling is for those reasons that were outlined in that survey. I'll say too, though, it doesn't always, to earlier point, have to be super expensive either. To me, the benefits of travel are really about experiencing a different place, either by yourself or with other people. So, like what we do with my family as well as every summer, my side of the family gets together. We have a bunch of, oh gosh, I'm trying to do the number, the 8 different cousins, I think. I might have missed one. Hopefully not. But we got like 8 young cousins, and we try to get them all together, and we go someplace different. Usually it's within a couple-hour drive of where everybody lives, but the idea is we're in a different place. We're all together having experiences together. And to me, I think that's really the crux of travel, whether it's local or really far away. It's what are those experiences? And especially that idea of pulling people away from their screens, I think is really important and something I think about a lot in a world where I feel like we talked about this before too. So much interaction in humanity has been like shrunk down to a little screen. And so it's the idea of trying to make sure that kids understand that the world is a big place and there are lots of people in it. And those people are different, but a lot of us have similarities with ourselves. And, doing something different and somewhere else is okay too. Maybe there's a better way. And it's really, I think, important for them to see that the world does not exist like within the 4 walls of their house or on their screen, and that it is a lot bigger than that. So I am very much in favor of experiencing or exposing kids to travel as much as possible.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
I don't have a lot to add to this conversation because I don't have kids. I have my godsons. I see the impact that travel has on them, which is remarkable. Their eyes sort of light up when they see and experience a new place, which is very cool to witness. Because kids are like little sponges.
Yeah.
They want to learn new things. They want to see new things. Um, you know, with certain limitations, talked about traveling with Andrew's boys, and they're great. They want to experience these things. They want to see these new things, and then they want to go to the closest pool.
That's true. There's got to be a pool,
and that's fine. So we did a trip to Puerto Rico a few years ago, and they love seeing Castillo San Felipe del Moro. And then they wanted to go to the pool because it was hot as fuck outside. And I get that. Want to see something, saw it, boom, pool.
Yeah, their attention span's also not great. So I think you got to, when you're traveling, plan for lots of activities or downtime. Yeah.
And that's fine. And we're going to be heading out on another trip in just a few weeks. I know that they are going to get a kick out of seeing some of the historic sites. But they also want to go to the pool. And probably drink a Shirley Temple or an apple juice.
By the pool, yes.
By the pool. And that is fair. Completely get that. Sometimes I need to sit by the pool too.
Are you going to get a Shirley Temple or an apple juice, or will you get something else?
I will get something. I'll get a little bit higher ABV.
There you go. But I think even though they do love lots of pools, and I think kids are like that, like we'll talk about trips that we've taken a couple years ago that they still have memories about or talk about. And I do hope that this inspires them. And I'd be curious what other listeners who are parents think if like the travel they do, they hope it inspires their kids to want to kind of continue to explore or do things as a family. I mean, those are my great memories when we traveled as a kid growing up, is just doing stuff together as a family. And it was like just that bonding that happens, I think is important, and travel's a great way to do that.
Yes. 100% agree. I think it's very cool that you have invested so much time. You and Jesse have invested so much time and effort into providing your boys with with those experiences. And I am very excited about our conversation next week with our friends who will discuss, because they really have traveled all around the world, around the world with their,
it's impressive,
with their kids.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. So they're going to have some insights.
Better appreciate what we do for them. Just kidding. I'm just like, I better get a thank you later. No, I'm joking. Obviously. It's
Mm-hmm. Okay, with that, we have blown through 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you've not done so already, Please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us a lot. Remember that you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartMedia, and all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Until next week, good luck, guys.
See ya.